Back-to-back wins, another good week. Pretty close to a complete performance at FIU this past week. I guess looking back on the film, what did you like from that game? What did you want to see cleaned up?
Yeah, started slow. They came out with a completely new game plan that they have not shown one clip of it on film. We didn't recognize it early. Guys kind of got a little flustered the first few drives, settled in, then we had a fumble. But really after that, really clean game by us for the most part. Ran the ball really well, which when you drop 8, that's what you're going to have to do. But I thought we passed the ball very well too for drop 8. I think close to 370 yards, something like that. So it was a pretty good complete performance for us after the slow start, which got to make some adjustments after something you don't see. So, but after that, pretty good game.
Despite the slow start too, and only 34 points, you still put up 530 yards of offense. Zappy does his thing. Jared's out there again. It's kind of like, even though things went bad, it was still good.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. You score 34 points and have over 500 yards, and people are acting like you're not doing too good. So, but that's kind of where we're at, because we started out really good this season and put up some big numbers and some of those things. But us, we come back and we think we could have had 650 yards and 45 points type deal. So there's always room to improve, and that's kind of what we're trying to do this week.
When you mentioned the running game, close to 5 yards or over 5 yards per carry the last 3 games. Obviously, we talked about, them playing some drop 8 and having to run the ball. But, what can you just say about that group, in their growth and the increased production, over these past few games?
Yeah, can't say enough about them. Once again, we kind of said it from the beginning of the year, we're going to have a running back by committee type deal this year. And all those guys, really stepped in. Noah didn't make the trip last week, got a little banged up, ready to have him back this week. He looks good. But Jakari, Kai, Adam, all those guys stepped in and really ran the ball hard, and gave us that boost that we really needed, especially after those first few drives.
Coach Helton said, they came out in the different defense with the 8-man coverages and stuff. I guess, are you expecting to see that throughout the rest of the season with how impressive y'all's passing game has been?
Yeah, you kind of think so to a certain extent, but if you go back and you looked at the first half of UTSA against us, UTSA did the exact same thing, and we had over 300 yards in one half on them. And then they came back the second half and played their normal defense. So, you'll probably see a little bit of it for sure. I think part of that, FIU did have 2 weeks to prepare for us. And, I kind of think they were like, we're not going to let the quarterback beat us. And so they're going to drop 8, which there's not a bigger sign of respect for your quarterback other than drop 8. So, we'll see it again for sure. I have no question. But I don't necessarily know if people are just going to say, this is what we're going to do every snap, kind of like FIU did.
Charlotte, they've had some positives, some negatives this year. I guess from their defense, what have you seen on film? What do you think you can take advantage of there?
Yeah, man, they're a little unorthodox. They're kind of all over the place. They do some exotic different things, some different coverages that are different. They got one of the best pass rushers in the league, number 0, phenomenal player. Really good, man. He's got a lot of different tools in his bag, a lot of spin moves and some of that stuff. Very twitchy, fast off the edge, but also really stout in the run game as well. They've got a whole bunch. It's crazy. They have 8 of their starters are graduates or seniors, so they're veteran. They're older guys that have done this for a long time, seasoned guys. So definitely expecting their best shot this weekend.
I guess, what does it take, facing a veteran team like that? I guess, what are you expecting to see from them, I guess?
Yeah, I think they'll just play a clean game. I don't think there's going to be the mental busts and some of those things, penalties, busted coverages, guys not in their gaps in the run game, some of those things. Just when you have guys that are that experienced, that have done it for that long, those things, the game starts to slow down for you and the mental errors kind of go away.
The offense has kind of been there the whole year, obviously. Quote, bad game, I guess, this past game, even though it's a good game still. Defense has been balling out the last couple of weeks. Guys won back-to-back games. You're heading home for a couple of weeks. How much momentum do you guys feel like you have right now?
Yeah, we feel good, clearly not satisfied. We know that we've always got stuff to clean up, but, it's kind of one of those deals. We had some success early on, and now the last 2 games, the defense has carried us and sacking the quarterback and making them punt and giving us all the opportunities in the world. And that's, as a football program, that's what you really want to see. You want to see that, if one side of the ball maybe is not having such a great game, the other team's lifting them up, and that's really what we've done. So we feel good. We feel like we've got some momentum, and trying to just keep that going.
Talking about Bailey, he checks to the run game a lot. I guess how much percentage is it him checking to the run game versus you calling a run?
This last game, it was probably a little bit more called runs than checks, but he did have a couple phenomenal checks. I want to say 3 or 4 last game, but there was a lot of called runs. Once again, you have 3 deep safeties back there. You're going to have some called runs, with 5-man boxes, even when you're in 11 personnel. Very unorthodox. You don't see that very often. So when they do that, as a play caller, you got to do what the defense gives you. So if it's run the ball, we're going to run the ball, and if they want to come press down, that's when we'll tack over the top.